So I'm out here just bumping and thumping on these fenders, getting them straightened out. I took a straight edge. These fenders were really smashed up when I got them. And so what I did was added a foot into the fender here to widen it out. And then I just took this straight edge here, and it flexes really good. So I just went around and got this here edge here nice and straight, front to back. Took a wire brush, cleaned the inside up here. What I'm going to do is, I have it cleaned up pretty good. So that'll all get done in pour 15 before I prime it. Okay, this is the passenger side fender. I still have the driver's side to do. I haven't started on it at all yet. All the lines are nice and straight now. Took out all the little dings and dents. So when I do the fill on this thing, from using my straight edge, everything is within like 32nd of an inch, less than a 16th for sure of an inch. So it's not going to take much to fill anything in. See, spots like this here will take a little bit. That's like maybe a 32nd of an inch deep. And so for the tail lights, I'll show you on the driver's fender here the issue I run into with the taillights, because these here are the taillights I am using. They're still 6 volt, but that's easy to change. So when I drop it in, it does this. It rocks back and forth. So the metal here is flat. It's slightly curved this way, not enough, but it needs to be curved this way as well to fit that curve there. And there's a slight curve there, a little more of a curve than the fender than the fender has. So what I did on this fender is I don't know how well you can see it, but I just took a hammer and banged a dome, a V-shaped dome, right down here and all the way down to about here. Then I stuck it in the English wheel, flattened it out, and now the taillight fits the fender. So that worked out good. So like, this is just my hobby. I do underground irrigation, in-ground irrigation for a living. So this, you know, I'm not doing this for a living. It's just a hobby. So if I can figure it out, anybody can. Just be patient with moving the metal. You don't want to move it further than you have to. I probably took like 15 rounds to get that taillight to fit. Move the metal a little bit, try it, move it a little bit more, try it. So another thing with pour 15, this is the original metal. I got it ground down pretty good, but there's still little tiny spots where there's rust. Little, like, not holes, but little divots. So I'm going to pour 15 this, let it sit for a couple days. Then I'm going to sand it down, take most of the pour 15 off, and then where all these little spots are that have rust in it, the pour 15 will stay in there because it'll convert the rust to, I forget what it's called, but it'll kill the rust basically. And then I can just prime over top of it. Most of this fender is good enough just to do in primer, builder primer, and won't need body fill. So now I'm going to pull the other fender off and get it ready. And yeah, so what I did here was, at first I just hammered out about 4 inches up here and just kind of made a triangular blister in the metal from about 1 inch below the light to like 4 inches above the light. And it didn't quite pop right, so I threw it back in the English wheel and I raised it all the way from the top up here 14 inches. So it just gradually, slowly becomes a hump all the way down here. I think once it's got paint on it, it's really hard to see right now, but it's not, it more fits into the fender than just a bump down here. Yeah, it's really hard to see. It's just a slight change up here, and it just gradually comes out as it works its way down to the light. Okay, so I have all 4 fenders ready for pour 15. I also have the cowl vent for above the master cylinder and the windshield frame already. So what I'm going to be doing here, sorry about the spinning. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to paint them all in pour 15, two thin coats, and then just the old metal where there's rust. I'll do 2 coats of pour 15 on that, and that'll kill the rust and seal it. And then I'll sand it down with like 80 grit where I've got to do any filler, like the glass on the seams. And then I'll use the 2K primer, filler primer on top of that after I do the glass. Can't see the name of it there. It's Transtar anyhow, 2K primer. High build primer. Sorry, I really suck with a camera, but yeah, that's it up there. So I'll get all these done up in pour 15, and then they're gonna sit for probably 2 days before I scuff them up, get them in glass, and then prime them. Okay, so I have all the fenders in done in pour 15. Ready to be sanded down and put the glass on the seams, and then I'm going to do some body work around the welds and then get it in primer. I've got the motor out. I put in these shocks. The Ford shocks. I don't know if I'm going to use them though. I just don't like the looks of it. So I'm going to try something else in the next couple of days about that. And then I have the box pulled off. Did the DA on it. So I got to do the glass on the corners and a bit of work up here at the front. Get that in primer. I'm hoping to get that done tomorrow. Got to weld up the ends here. I'm just going to plug it right solid. The end of the tubes, because it's only 1.25 inch pipe. I made that out of And then I'm just going to keep pulling parts off, getting them in primer, doing, you know, the initial body work. Do the finish welding on the frame. And then I can put it all back together. Do the final sanding and blocking of the whole body all in one piece. Pull it all apart again. Paint it. Then put it back together. Yeah, I got the windshield frame as well. Already done in Pour 15. It had one hole in the one corner I had to fix up, but other than that, it was in pretty good shape. Okay. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Ring the bell. And share with anybody and everybody. This was just I took out more Pour 15 out of the can than I needed. And so I used up the last of it on there. And so when you use Pour 15, if you just poke a hole in each side of the lid and put a screw in the two holes, you can pour out what you need, put the screws in the hole, and don't open the can. And it'll last a while on the shelf before it goes hard on you. Because when the stuff dries up, it goes like almost like ceramic. It's very hard. Okay, and again, thanks for watching.